Before I get into today's episode about Marcus Mariota, I just want to let you know that it's sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek, of course, is the best place to get tickets to sporting events such as the preseason football or regular season football, but you can also get tickets to concerts and to comedy events, and almost anything you need a ticket for, SeatGeek probably has. And if you use the promo code JKS, you'll save $20 off of your first purchase just like that. Use the promo code JKS, $20 off. It's that simple. So if that's something you're interested in, you can just click on a link in the description below, and anyways, back to your regularly scheduled video. I actually got a suggestion saying that I should make a Marcus Mariota versus Ryan Tannehill video as to who is going to be the starting quarterback next year, break down some of their preseason games, and then sort of determine who I think should be the starting quarterback. And that's actually a pretty good idea. It's something that I had thought of in a similar way, but just with different teams. However, the reason I won't be doing it with the Titans is for really one simple reason. I don't think there's a quarterback controversy. I think Mariota is clearly going to be the starter next year. I mean, I get the Tannehill hype. Listen, I did have him at 31 in my top 40 quarterback rankings, which is the highest grade I gave any backup quarterback. You know, I do think Tannehill is actually a pretty good player, but I think Mariota is just a little bit better. And even if they're the same type of player, you might as well go with the guy who knows the playbook. I mean, I did actually think there was maybe a chance, we'll give it a 1% chance Tannehill could have won the job. You know, if Tannehill just went completely off in practice and went completely off in the preseason and then Mariota struggled in the preseason, I think that would have been enough to at least create some sort of a quarterback controversy. But Mariota made sure that wouldn't happen. He had a very good second preseason game, and let's just get into it. Take a look at this play. It's going to be a cover 3 zone that the Tennessee Titans are going to be going up against, and they're going to be running play action, and they also have a receiver in motion to the bottom half of the screen. So, you know, with all this stuff going on behind the line of scrimmage, hopefully this will draw New England Patriots linebackers in, and then you can simply just throw it to that tight end right there who will be running over the linebackers. I mean, as you see, he's cutting in right now, and if you look at the two New England Patriots, they're pretty far spread out. And while one of those Patriots is still pretty far deep, there definitely is now a window where Mariota can try to fit this ball through. So watch how he steps up in the pocket and delivers a very good throw. I mean, listen, you got the first down, that's what matters. Could the throw have been a little bit higher? Sure, but again, you make the throw, I'm not going to hate on you too much. And in throws over the middle like that in cover 3, it's definitely better to throw it too low than throw it too high, because if you throw it too high, it's an interception. If you throw it too low, it's incomplete. That's kind of the bread and butter of this Tennessee Titans offense. It's run the ball a lot, get teams to move their linebackers in, and then have Mariota throw over the top of the linebackers on play action. That's the way their offense works, and you know what? It's had some pretty solid results. I mean, it's just not the type of offense that's going to have a quarterback throw for 5,000 yards. It just isn't. But that also doesn't mean that Mariota can't make some more difficult throws and can't throw the ball downfield when necessary. I almost feel like for some reason people all of a sudden act like all he does is check the ball down. And for one thing, being a guy who checks the ball down a lot is not a bad thing whatsoever. I mean, that's the reason why Drew Brees has thrown for more passing yards than anybody else in NFL history, because he checks down so frequently. But also, Mariota can make tough plays. Mariota is a good athletic quarterback, and this will be an example of that. It's going to play action to the bottom half of the screen, and they're going to have a receiver running an out route right over there. And so take a look what happens once he fakes his handoff, and he is going to make a throw in that direction. But for one thing, look at just how much of a clean pocket he has. I mean, you gotta love that if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, just seeing that offensive line, just give Mariota all day to throw the football. I mean, you know, this Tennessee Titans offensive line is debatably a top 5 offensive line when healthy, and so I'm definitely looking to see how they can do this next season. But also, you know, that's great right here. You give Mariota time where he can throw, and also he can basically throw the way he wants to. He can square his shoulders up and make this throw accurate, and he is going to make a perfect throw. I mean, look at that. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. Granted, the receiver doesn't make the catch, but Mariota gave him a chance to make that catch, so give Mariota credit on that one. Now, it should be mentioned, it was not a perfect day for Mariota. He definitely had some plays that, in hindsight, he probably would have liked to have back. Like, if you take a look at this one, it's going to be a cover 1 hole, and the way this is going to work for Tennessee is they're going to have 2 curl routes, both on each side of the screen. And after this ball is snapped, one thing you might notice is that there is a receiver who's open on the top half of the screen. However, Mariota kind of guessed wrong here, you know? If you look at him, he's looking down to the bottom half of the screen. And also, if you look at him, you'll notice that there's a Patriot right about to make a tackle, so he doesn't really have time to look around too much. This was kind of him reading the play beforehand and saying, okay, I think my receiver on the bottom half of the screen could get more open than my receiver on the top half of the screen, so that's where I'm going to look to throw this ball to. However, he was wrong. He makes a throw anyways and just gets batted away. Again, far from a disaster. I'm sure you watch everybody play a game, they will make some of those mistakes from time to time. You know, it just happens. It's easier to watch those things on TV when you have a bird's eye view than it is when you're literally right in the middle of the field and you have to turn your entire body to see the other guy. You know, when things move that quickly, that is a pre-snap thing, that isn't a post-snap thing. You kind of have to make your decision before the ball is snapped. It's almost an educated guessing game, I guess, where you look at the matchup that you like better and you just hope that that receiver ends up being the one who gets more open. Now granted, if you're not open at all, maybe you would like to see Mariota improvise a little bit, but again, he had no time to improvise on that play just because there was pressure. And that's not to say he can't improvise. I mean, take a look at this play, for example. For one thing, you're going to see one of the weirdest graphics get flashed up on the screen, and it's displaying that last season, the Tennessee Titans were 15th best in the NFL on third down conversions. I'm not really sure why we needed to know that so badly, but Tennessee Titans Network wanted to brag about their 40% third down conversion percentage. I don't know. Anyways, this play is going to be a cover one hole, and this time it'll be an out route, and out route, very good way to be to cover one hole. You're leaving your receiver on a one-on-one matchup, and if you can hit him right after he cuts, he can end up getting open. However, one thing is going to happen here that's not supposed to happen. If you look, that Patriot is doing a very good job of winning his one-on-one matchup and trying to create some pressure for Mariota. So Mariota is instead going to kind of dance around and then just chuck one up there. The receiver running an out route, of course, at the end of the out route, you would then just run down the sidelines because you want to keep moving, and that's what he did, and there was a flag thrown. And now you might be saying, well, wait a second, that's not a smart thing to do, right? Just chuck one up there and hope for the best. But it's actually not a terrible thing to do in that situation. You are kind of in that weird spot where you might have to have a short punt situation, or maybe you kick a long field goal, but either way, none of those two options are ideal. So that's kind of a calculated risk. Sometimes you can't afford to make those plays, just throw one up there and hope for the best. That's good situational football. If that was a first down and 10, then I would say don't make that throw the ball away and live to see another down. But sometimes it is okay to take a risk. You just have to know when you should take a risk. Mariota knew that was a good time to take a risk, and it paid off for him. They got the flag, so that's really good. There was also this play, it's another third down situation, and it's going to actually be a cover one blitz right here. And for the Titans, that's a good thing. They have those two receivers running those two routes right there, which is pretty much perfect. Because if you are that one New England Patriots safety who's deep, you'll have a decision to make. You'll either have to cover the receiver who's going to be crossing over to the middle of the screen and run in, or you'll have to stay deep and cover the go route that's going to the sideline on the top half of the screen. So either way, one of these Titans will have a one-on-one matchup in a favorable situation. However, of course, the downside is this play could take a little bit of time to develop, and since it is a cover one blitz, this now means that Mariota will have to hope that he has enough time to make a throw. And the offensive line is going to do a pretty good job. However, as of right now, while Mariota is looking to make this throw, if you notice, both tackles they've won their one-on-one matchup, but it's a battle. They're not dominating their one-on-one matchup. The two Patriots in the area are definitely making sure they can try to force something here. So for Mariota, he's going to step up in the pocket and then make a throw over the middle, and they're able to make a completion on that one. Good pocket presence to know to step up in the pocket, but also a good throw deep down the field for completion. And once again, throws it a little bit low, but it's better to throw it a little bit low than too high. I personally thought that was a good play from Mariota. I mean, listen, is this guy Patrick Mahomes? No, but can he throw a deep ball? Yeah, he can. Hearing some of the things people say about Mariota, it kind of makes me wonder if people actually have ever watched Mariota play football. And listen, I'm not super high on the guy. I ranked him at 24 in my top 40 quarterback rankings. I mean, that's kind of a lower tier starting level quarterback. So, I do have my flaws of him, as most people do. However, I still think this guy can play, and he has a lot of potential, and I can see him getting better in the future. I mean, people forget, this guy's 25 years old. I mean, he's really not that old at all. It's hard to put a guy in a box at a very young age when you still do have time to develop. I mean, 27 for a quarterback is definitely very young. It's right in the middle of your prime for a lot of other positions, but in the quarterback position, when it is so mental, really around 28 or so is really where I would say is your prime. And honestly, some guys have their primes at like 38, I mean, it happens. So the idea that the Titans should just move on from Mariota, I find a bit silly. Now, if you think Tennessee shouldn't pay Mariota a huge contract, well then yeah, there is some logic behind that. It is a cap league, you have to be smart about how you spend your money, but I do think that Mariota is a very valuable player. He's not perfect. I'll show another flaw right here. It's going to be a cover one linebacker blitz, and this is actually perfect for the Titans because they're going to have those two receivers run those two routes right there, and then their plus receiver will simply just run a slant route right over the middle. So for Mariota, it's pretty simple. Hit the receiver on a slant route quickly, and then you can just try to pick up as many yards as possible. I mean, as you see, he is easily open. There is plenty of room to run, and if Mariota can hit his receiver in stride and hit his receiver quickly, this can now give him plenty of time to potentially even pick up a first down on this play. However, this throw is kind of a little bit slow and a little bit behind the receiver where he had to slow down and then make the catch, and by that point he just got tackled as soon as he caught the ball. It was also a good defensive play, but I would like to see him throw that one on a little bit more of a line. You don't have to lob that one up as much. You can throw a fastball there, you don't have to throw a changeup. And listen, I get that you don't want to throw it as hard as you can because that's how drops happen. I mean, I remember Josh Freeman was kind of famous for that. He would always just beam the ball to guys who were 5 yards away from him and then they would just drop it. but you definitely could have had a little bit more zip on that one than Mariota had. So I would consider that a bad play by Mariota on that one. But if you forget about that play for a second, there's actually one play that I loved to Mariota, and it's going to be this one. Those are the routes you see on the screen, and the route that Mariota is going to look to throw to will be that one route right there, because he will have a quick cut to the outside, so this is a situation where Mariota could try to make this throw to. However, after the ball is snapped, he's just not going to get open. You know, it happens. Sometimes your first read doesn't really get too open. There would be maybe a chance of this working, but keep in mind it is a 2-point conversion, so you know, picking up any positive yards means absolutely nothing here. It's either you convert or you don't. And there even is the possibility of a pick 2 on this play if the throw isn't perfect, so you know, definitely one that he should look off of. And there's another thing, if you see in between the left tackle and left guard, there definitely is space in between them. So Mariota is going to say, okay, screw it, let me see if I can run for the first down. And he's going to run, and he's going to actually leap over a guy, but still get into the end zone for a touchdown. And listen, that's stupid, you know, I'll say it right now. That is not a smart thing to do in the preseason, especially when you're almost guaranteed to be a starting quarterback. If I'm Coach Vrabel on that one, I'm going up to Mariota and saying, what are you doing, Marcus? Don't be doing that. But then as soon as he walks away, I'm probably smiling, because, you know, you do love to see quarterbacks do things like that, even though you do hold your breath and make sure that they're okay once they get up. He should be better at protecting himself, but at the same time, you know, that's kind of what makes him play at the level that he plays at. The fact that he's willing to put his body on the line is a real reason the Tennessee Titans have won a playoff game with him as their quarterback. I mean, who could forget his game-winning block in that playoff game? But, you know, that's kind of would be my suggestion for Mariota, is, you know, save the blocks and save those types of plays for playoffs, not necessarily these types of games. But that's also kind of what makes him fun, too. So, you know, that's what I thought of Mariota's second preseason game. I thought he played very well. I think he's a good player. But that's just what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.